So welcome to MindShifters Radio. Today is Monday, January the 26th, 2026. And welcome, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart, and welcome, everybody. Delighted that we get to do this again. Last night was an awesome session. It was, I think, very powerful. It was powerful for me physiologically, and certainly Lucy got into her physiology pretty deeply in it. So it was just an awesome session. And we've been on the topic of healing through relationships, which that all tied into last night. So, it's interesting how it all fits together. And does anybody have anything on your mind? What's happening?
Well, if I might jump in.
Please do.
I actually was just on the phone with a friend whose teenage daughter has found herself in a very toxic relationship, heavy with substance abuse, and this partner that is has isolated her daughter and refusing to leave their home. And so I had said to her, well, I'll bring it up on the call today and just see what types of suggestions. She's really desperate at this point. The RCMP, unless he causes a big disturbance, they are not able to remove him. But if he causes a big disturbance, then they most certainly can. But he's smart enough to know not to do that because he's savvy to the system as well. And so just putting that out there for today to see what might be a successful way forward for her.
Is he being violent?
They suspect that he has hit my friend's daughter, but that
there's no evidence.
No evidence, and she's not admitting to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would check and see. Usually, most cities have a support system for abused spouses or abused partners in relationship. And if there is witness to emotional abuse, which she hasn't seen the physical, it sounds like there's been emotional abuse obvious, then I would check and see what local support there might be. And one of the steps might be oftentimes going to a battered women's shelter and perhaps the daughter wouldn't cooperate with that, but the daughter would be out of that environment, and then he wouldn't have much incentive to be there. That'd be one of the thoughts that comes to me. But I check with the local women's shelter, or someone who knows what's going on in the community, and they might have a way to get the RCMP to step up where the RCMP won't voluntarily do that. Unfortunately, the statistics of abuse in police forces, spousal abuse, are just outrageous. They're one of the worst groups of people for doing spousal abuse. And I suspect it probably has to do with, the fact that the field they've gone into, and then what they get to observe all the time becomes pretty callous. So a lot of times I think people who are verbally, emotionally abusive don't consider it abuse at all. Mm-hmm. And so I check with the women's shelter, people who are working professionally within the community to support abused women, and see what mechanisms there might be within the community to assist and support her daughter.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
I've got an offering as well. Parents, do your own work. So I wouldn't be focusing on the daughter. I'd get the mother in here to start doing her work.
Yeah.
Get everybody involved in the local shelter.
And having lived it, I've lived exactly that, so I can tell you that. And these patterns are replicated. And yes, she's in fear, all of those things. And I promise you, you're going to be going into Gila's workshop. Gila would say the same thing. Instead of focusing on the daughter, her going in and seeing, because her daughter's is just a manifestation of her own psyche.
Yes.
Of what's unprocessed, right? So that's the best thing. And you take care of the inner world, the outer world will take care of itself. It will
and to to further complicate it, my friend has adopted this
Yeah.
this girl, so she went through the foster home system, and so there's all kinds of other contributing factors as well. And my friend is at the point right now where she's at her wit's end and doesn't know what else to do. So she has been doing some of her work, but this just is such this situation really overrides everything,
It's a
because
big tell for her. Her story, what it is, the universe has given her her adopting the daughter, all of the patterns that came with the daughter. It's got nothing to do with the daughter. Zero. It is to bring up in her all of the unresolved family of origin system trauma that resides in her physiology. And she's now projecting it out, and you could even share this with her. Let her listen to this, because what's happening, this is her tell. And she's at her wit's end because God has graciously brought these patterns front and center, so she has her wake-up call to face all that stirring within her that's up for healing. And it's really hard because she's facing her non-being mind and also seeing her daughter at risk. And, Lindsay, we talked about what happened to Lindsay with her father. And for those that don't know, Lindsay had to go on a big shamanic journey with her father being really ill and being on a death's door. He really was at an exit point. And we knew this was happening. She was going to Mexico to get him. And I told her, you must choose love and follow that in every step and do your own healing as you grow, and timelines will change. So she did this, and there was all kinds of initiations all the way through, going to Mexico, getting her dad. She got brought into, because of snowstorm in Lake Louise for 3 days. All of these things happened. Get back to Prince George, go to the hospital. And she's a nurse. And she could tell by her father's voice when he asked her to come to get him in Mexico, he was starting to leaving the body. Get to Prince George, go to the hospital. The doctors tell him he just has an issue where something happened to his left testicle, and it's actually dying, but he's going to be fine. And my whole point being, she changed timelines, and this is the truth of it. You change it in
everything
moment.
Is changeable for sure.
And so when we go into fear and you hold love conscious, active, and present, whatever comes up in the moment, you face it and process it and integrate and know the truth that we are that. I swear this could be resolved in an instant for her, if she could go willing to go in. And it's not, having lived it, it's not easy to go and face these patterns and be in them. And you can ask Lindsay in this whole initiation what she had to go through, and she's communicated that to us, Anita. And so for your friend, I'm saying this, we witnessed it through Lindsay, and I've witnessed it many times through my clients, through my own story. And it seems like the world is doing it to us, but it isn't. It's all an image that she's created in her own mind. And she has created this image of this daughter who was adopted and all of these things. And then she externalized it into her outer reality so she could see all these unhealed aspects of her own psyche.
Whew.
Yeah.
And in that same space, if the daughter is in danger, it's appropriate to take steps to protect her, even though it's all, one of the things we tend to forget is that we are creators. And here it is. Here's our creation. I'm right with you with that. And if our creation is bringing danger into this space, it's appropriate to take the steps that the culture gives us to take to protect someone who perhaps is not aware of how to take care of themselves. And of course, invite the daughter into the healing process as well.
And I'm also open, because I lived it, as you know, to share this with your friend. I lived it. I was almost killed, and I'm happy to talk to the daughter. If she was open, and I've helped other women through that experience, and we must choose our own worth over any experience, and it has to do with undeservability and unworthiness, and we can't find it in the moment. And even if we have one little hand holding us to tell us you will have worth. So I'm absolutely open to be support that way.
Thank you.
And each of us is here to hold your hand in her hand as well.
Yeah.
And hearts.
Yeah, exactly. And this is even for the part of me that stayed. I was 20 years old when I met my first husband, and I stayed till I was 20, almost 27. So, yeah.
Breathing with you on that one.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And
so
Susan, I'm not sure that I answered Joan's question, what you meant. She asked, what do you mean by changing timelines? And I
Okay,
said,
so
changing his direction from being death to health.
yeah, exactly. And so changing timelines. So in the moment, every moment we're making a decision, every single moment. And if you imagined, I know this, I have to give it language. So if you imagined that you're standing here in a circle right now and you see all these different paths, okay, you're just in a circle and there's paths all around you. And you get to decide in that moment which path you're going to take. And the path that you're going to take is based on the energy that you are. And they're all there. They're all different timelines and all different experiences that you get to have. And equal to how you perceive it and how you're going to show up is going to determine the path you're going to go on. Every choice point is a new decision opportunity. Every time you have a decision to make, you're entering a new choice point for the path to come again. So what I was wanting to say in the space with Anita's friend and her daughter, we could hold on to fear and oh my gosh and be in panic and all that. Well, if that's what you're holding as an energy, well, you get to match the resonance of going down the path that supports that. And when you're sitting there always holding, no matter what, you're inside your own being and you're holding love, conscious, active, and present. And this is really hard to do when you had a whole bunch of evidence in the past that things don't go a certain way, or we're holding that it's based in fear and you got to make things happen, all of that.
Used to be hard to do.
It used to be hard to do. Thank you. Thank you so much, because I'm facing this right now, everybody. So,
Breathing with you.
Yeah, facing this and, wanting to bring this event through to Kauai. So, and then the old patterns, evidence, but yet to hold love, conscious, active, and present, and know that no matter what I'm seeing. And calling in Ruka, that's what I did. Kathumi is with me right now, who's another higher being. They're with me, and Mary's with me, the mother, and resting there, even though all the evidence is showing, I'm feeling the evidence is showing me something different. So then the timeline's open, and then I get to go on the path for equal to what I think and what I believe. That's what shows up. And like I said, I've seen so much evidence of that over my clients and over my own experience. And Lindsay, if she was here, she could talk to that, because she saw her father on death's door believing he was going to pass, and then changed it as a result that it ended up being a minor event that happened at the hospital for him, and he's going to be fine. So yeah,
Yay for Lindsay and Dad.
And
let's bring a
and the relationship was ruptured since COVID. And Lindsay saw it was her energy that was creating it, and she was able to find it and clean it up, and complete relationship change with her sister and her dad, because she changed her mind. That's how it works.
Okay, so I get that it's a change in direction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how it's a change in time.
So imagine, I want to say it this way. So it's a change in mind. So you've changed the perception, right? And as you change the perception, you change what event you're going to experience. And so that's what I'm calling a timeline. So I could go down a timeline of it being where, in Anita's case, the daughter could because I'm holding fear as the mother, because that's what I'm holding, and believing that she's going to be beaten, and oh my gosh, I have to rescue her, and hold that energy. That will be the timeline I experience. I could hold my perception that she is going to find her way and the resources are going to come in, and I know that God has her, and I'm going to hold that as my knowing and the belief. And of course, if I have any beliefs that challenge that, I have to clean it up. And then I could hold that and know that to be true, and then the daughter will experience, and she will experience the timeline where it reveals itself in a healthy, loving relationship. So I call that a timeline. Does that make sense?
Why do you call it a timeline?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, aren't we still in the same time regardless?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all in different time. We're all experiencing different experiences and different timelines. We're in a collective reality. So, for example, we are living in, let's say I live in Prince George, British Columbia, okay? And I could go to downtown. I'm living in this reality, and my timeline is not the same as the timeline someone living homeless. They're on a different timeline than I am. I'm not, yeah.
I'll throw in, I can hear Joan's hesitation on that. And what I hear you saying is we have, let's say, a half a dozen different possible creations we can engage in.
Yes.
And if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I can create from possibility 1, possibility 2, possibility 3, possibility 4, 5, or 6. I could create from any one of them. And it's still going to be 10 o'clock in the morning. So I hear her saying, what's it got to do with time, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to go down pathway 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 and create a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's where I hear Joan.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
About that.
You're attaching it to the actual clock time. I missed
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I missed that completely.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that forward, because I wasn't looking at through time, because I know this sounds weird, but I'm in and out of time. So time does not. Yeah, but
It's just like pretty much matters. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Matter of terminology, right? Like I know when Lenny does counseling, sometimes if he chooses to, he would take lifetime as a timeline, and in his timeline, he's like sensing certain events, which would be, let's say, triggering or something to look at, which made a change in human's life. Well, not typically, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but something would affect life. So this is like what I'm saying. It's another way where this term could be used, but Susan used that like in this context.
Cool.
I see. Joan, I can see the wheels are turning and still a bit confused.
For me, it just introduces confusion.
Yeah, I can see that. And that's okay to be with the confusion, because when we come up against something that what we believe to be true, and then we have information that challenges that, that's called cognitive dissonance. And because what you know to be true in your belief system and what somebody's bringing into it doesn't match at all.
Right.
So it's wait a minute, what you're and I and that's completely okay. Oh my gosh, it's completely okay, because everything you've been taught meets this one pattern that we are all locked in time, and we're all on the same time. And then now I'm introducing something that doesn't even match any of that, and it is very, very, very confusing. And I can tell you, if I took you back to 2011 and my entire life that I knew, it was like somebody took a sledgehammer to my psyche, to all my beliefs, and just smashed it, and it was all shattered before me. And I was like, everything I thought was what I thought was real, exactly some of the things what I'm telling you right now, I was lost, confused, tormented. Oh my gosh. And then it comes in time. The revelation happens, and it becomes more and more clear in time, in experience. When I say in time, it comes in experience. The wisdom comes and the truth unlocks. So it's okay to be in confusion, is what I'm saying.
And, when you said, Susan, oh, you're referring to time as on the clock, generally speaking, in our culture, the word time has to do with the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I can understand the confusion, because it really doesn't have anything to do with the clock, doesn't have anything to do with time. So we could call it a creative line as opposed to a timeline. And we have a variety of different creations, and that possibility being confused by the fact that the word time usually relates to a clock. So
yeah, so how would we That's a really good point. So to bring that into language for people that hold the precept that time, what Joan's saying. So is it a creative potential, or what would be a way
A
to
creative line.
Exactly.
Instead
Yeah.
of a
Instead of timeline, it's a
timeline.
creative line. So I've got 6 creative lines I can go down. I can create from fear. I can create from love. I can stand somewhere in the middle and create confusion. So each of those would be a creative line or a creative possibility. And time is irrelevant whether I do it at 9 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. Bringing the word time into it does introduce a factor that really isn't relative to what we're talking about.
Yeah. Thanks, Joan.
It's just creative possibilities, I think, would be, which one am I going to choose? And there's another refinement that I'd like to bring into the languaging with this whole idea too, and that is to recognize that, so often you hear me say, and people go, well, what are you talking about? What else have we got? I'll say, well, but you got to be out of your mind. And the mind operates like a machine, and it is a decision-making machine. So we're not going to create a new future out of making a decision. A decision is something that comes from something that already exists, and through resonance becomes an automatic direction. One of the things we talk about in laws of living is the automatic decision system. So if I say, don't think about the color of your car, there's no thinking involved. Through resonance, my words are going to cause brain cells related to car in your mind to fire, and those brain cells are going to fire, and the mind is going to spit up the product of that firing. That's a decision. There's no choice involved in that whatsoever. It's just, that's a decision. And what I hear you really talking about here is a choice. That one of the faculties of being, one of the faculties of the breath is choice. The mind doesn't have choices. If I say, what's the front door of your house look like? You can, your mind will roll with whatever's in your mind, or you could shift that. You could bring in something different and something new. The mind can't bring anything new in. The being can. And that's, I would refer to as choice rather than running on the automatic decision system. And most people run their whole lives on the automatic decision system, never knowing that just because a circumstance presented itself and it resonates, what I've created that circumstance out of. So up comes my decision to go into fear. And if I don't have the tool of forgiveness, and that decision, automatic, no choice involved, is going to run the show. If I wake up to, oh, here comes my fear, well, I have a choice about that. I have tools with which I can forgive this decision or this old energy, and I can now stand in being and bring in something totally new. And that would be, we would call choice.
And so to help me
Wow.
to understand that better, or just to land it more. So in the Course in Miracles, they talk about the body as a learning device of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to lock it in with choice. So then explain to me how, there's a carbon non-being mind. That could be the choice, or the being mind.
The mind of the body.
Yeah, the mind of the body. And then we have, when we listen and tap into the truth, the being mind, that's when the intuitive mind, or the inner sense comes in, and we get directed of what the next step is, and action is indicated. Is that fair to say? That's choice.
Bring something new in.
Yeah.
And the faculties of the being are those of will, choice, imagination, intuition, and by doing one's work, we can create true perception in the mind. We can use the 9-bit space that carbon-based memory usually fills with its decisions, its automatic resonance. We can use that space by collapsing through forgiveness, whatever the decisions of carbon-based memory are, and bringing in something new, bringing in through choice a whole new energy that maybe has never been seen on the planet before. And my take is, if we're living our purpose, that's what we're designed for. It's like, at this stage of humanity, the number of people who are living in the decisions of the past of fear and rage and guilt and trauma is outrageous. And what we need are people to come in to clean up their carbon-based memory and actually bring in, through purpose, what they were uniquely created by the Creator to bring in.
Yeah.
And, I see each person here stepping up and, what's my purpose? If the world has a purpose for us, and it's, get a job, pay taxes, make money, die, follow the king, do what the king wants you to do. And we need to, my take is, and that's the purpose of the workshop, purpose, personal power, and commitment, is to really establish what my purpose is. And when I establish what my purpose is, I'm going to bring in something that's probably never been seen on planet Earth before, that is contained by no mind. And as I bring it in, because it's all energy and frequency, as we've spoken about, if you look in the patent records around the world, you'll see totally new ideas coming in, and somebody in Italy patented it at the same day as somebody in Brazil patented it, the same day as somebody in Canada patented it. And these people had no communication with each other. I think we are
the 100th monkey effect, right?
Yeah, we're here to be the antenna to bring in what's the creation really about. And when we hit that leavening, as I take it, is we hit that leavening that Yeshua was talking about, where we literally become the antenna individually and collectively for the active presence of love and what we're designed for. When we're aligned to that, then we're bringing in things that have just never been seen.
Yeah.
And by doing that, leaving the past behind.
So if we could extrapolate that, and just for those that don't know, the 100 monkey effect. So there were monkeys in an island where they learned how to break open coconuts. And once that group of monkeys did that, and they break it up to get access to the the meat and the inside, every monkey in all areas were able to do that. So there was a resonance to what even with the patent example, and there's been research on that around. So now, how do we extrapolate what you just said and bring that to Anita's friend? What you just said, because now we have choice.
Yes.
Where you talked about will, choice, imagination, intuition, and then holding on to true perception, accurately perceiving what's going on. So the doorway to actuality can open up within the mind.
Right.
So
So that would be the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the work for mom. It would be different for each person involved. Introducing the work to mom to say, okay, so mom, I see you're in fear. And if you bring a mind of fear to this situation with your daughter, then being a creator, you're likely to create what you feared. And take that lesson from Job thousands of years ago. That which I feared most, that which I dreaded most has come upon me. So mom, how about if we do some work so that you can free yourself of fear, and what you bring to this situation with your daughter, with yourself, is the presence of love. Now you've got new choices, you've got new possibilities, where the fear-based mind is going to tend to take you in a direction that if conscious awareness is never brought in, if true perception is never brought in, if the space is never made in the 9-bit mind for possibilities of healing to show up, then we're just going to follow the old pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
So be introducing that to mom. It would be introducing, having a conversation with the daughter. Maybe the daughter doesn't feel safe. Maybe the reason she's picked this particular man, who it sounds like perhaps is abusive. We don't know for sure what's been going on, but perhaps introducing to the daughter the ability to start to look at what's her history. And, maybe it's never been safe for her to tell the truth. Something she learned, I don't know what age she was when she was adopted, but, it could be something she learned 2 or 3, mom gave her up. And in her little mind, it was because she said something, mom went into upset and mom got rid of her. So it might look like, the daughter doing work on, just as an example, the daughter doing work on being safe to tell the truth and being safe to, expose abuse if it's there.
Yeah.
And bringing in, once again, the presence of love. And who knows, that may be all that's needed in that household from those two women to take this man who has this old abuse pattern. Again, and not saying that as a fact, but assuming that what we've heard is true, then maybe that's the space that allows him to open up and look at, I can remember when I was 3 and I got yelled at and screamed at and just slapped around. And that's my power person dynamic. And I realize that when I get under stress, I yell and scream and want to slap somebody.
Yeah.
Man, I want to heal. All new possibilities, creative possibilities that can't come from the carbon-based memory system.
Yeah, that's a big piece. And then, thank you so much. And that's what we all get to hold, because it's easy to get, I know in my own experience, for me, I get lost in, it's a story. What's up is a story. And when we can go to the root of what's creating the story and healing that, this imaging, that's where the transformation happens.
Yes.
And then I just want to say, because Sally corrected me, thank you, Sally, because I knew there was a story, but it was long ago. The story was about monkeys washing potatoes.
Yeah.
And then she said there's a really good relevant book on that called The Positive Intelligence.
Yeah.
So I just
it's powerful. Powerful story. I mean, it was, as I understand it, there were military people on a remote island, and they watched this one. They would give them potatoes. There wasn't much food available to them, and the potatoes would end up in the sand, and the monkeys would be eating them. But there was one particular female monkey who would go down to the ocean and wash the sand off the potato before she'd eat it, and she started to take others. And they observed that when approximately 100 monkeys, critical mass, were going down to the beach and washing potatoes, all of a sudden, not only the monkeys on that island, but monkeys on surrounding islands. These, people are watching, and all of a sudden these monkeys who aren't even near to the primary female who changed the behavior, all of a sudden people are reporting from different islands, these monkeys, they're taking these potatoes and going down to washing them. Wow, it's something new. Don't bring in new possibility.
That I love that analogy, because that's a metaphor for humanity.
Yes.
Every time that we choose conscious, active, present love, and we make the choice there, the 100 monkey effect will happen. We don't know when, but as we get to hold, we get to be the monkey that washed the potatoes.
Yeah.
And then that will
And to choose, we got to be out of our minds.
Yeah. And I'm curious, Lucy, I would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
How are you?
You're doing.
How
Because
good.
your energy looks completely different today. Feels, looks
Awesome.
and feels completely different.
Well, before I just want to say, even though it takes understanding back to the beginning, this part of conversation, for some reason, when Michael, you said about emotions, right? Like you start naming emotions, and it was like for me, even how I explain potentials when I talk, with clients.
Right.
This is like, oh my God, here it is. This is what I was like a little stumbling, kind of like, but this is pretty much attached to emotions, to feelings, meaning how I can explain it now about potentials. It's not only positive, negative, only. So this gave me like a little bit language to talk about that. So thanks for that.
Well, in that regard, there's you may want to check on YouTube and look up Bruce Lipton, and he's got several different videos. But one of the things he shows is that when we think a thought, the thought produces a molecule.
Yeah, of course.
The molecule lands on the cell, and my take is that when the molecule lands on the cell is designed to feed back to us what that molecule means, and that's emotion. When that neuropeptide hits the cell either says, ouch, stop, with fear, whatever it has, or that cell feeds back to us, oh yeah, I like it, let's go for it. And so we've got that feedback mechanism for the quality of our creative process. But because most of us live in denial, no, this isn't mine. You are the one who made me mad. We don't take that as the feedback it's designed to be. We put it into the whole blame game and start creating out of those unconscious dynamics that have been introduced to the cell by our own thinking.
Yeah. So going back to yesterday.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, that was definitely out of all of my years in different practices, one of the most significant sessions. And the way how my physiology reacted, it doesn't happen every time, let's put this way. So a lot of freedom, like inside, came. And with this being said, a lot has surfaced. That is another story. And I was thinking, Jeannie sent yesterday video. Well, yesterday I wasn't even going to watch it. I was thinking today, and very strange thing. For me, it's strange because like I'm almost hesitant. So I know I will, but there is some like discomfort, even going back and watch it. And then I start to think like, what is that? And I realized that this is about Elena. Elena, if I don't know if I'm gonna see her on the video, I'm not sure how it's in the recording. This is like a lot of triggering because I noticed when she was answering how long and carefully she was using words to say nothing, pretty much. And and then with that, I noticed how, again, my mind going out of my own case to worry and guilt and all that kind of things, what resonated by her body language, let's say. So it's like new layer really surfacing like very, very strongly. Again, it's been done. So even what I mentioned in the session, there are a number of work has been done, but like with the guilt and seems like I know it's 77 times 70. I haven't done that many on that one subject, but I've done a lot and I seem to be still stuck there. So I don't know. I was going to say something so positive and only my gratitude, and all of a sudden see I swing to, again, heavy emotions. Whew, but anyway.
What I hear, though, is you've cleared out a space where probably the next piece of work you do in regard to those issues will be much more fruitful.
Well, yes. Yeah. Yes. So thank you so much. Like for the space held, for the you, Susan, you, Michael, processing was like was massive. Yeah.
Your willingness was
and I
awesome.
Slept well.
Good. Well, your willingness was awesome, and you impacted everybody. I mean, what you processed, what you went through was exemplary and really, I think, opened a space for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
And
for
can
your
I make
willingness.
one offering for you when you go back and watch the video? Because I noticed, and I just want to bring this back to presence of mind, because, and this is without it being live, and now you get to watch the recording, this is a beautiful opportunity where you get to practice holding on to self while observing other. You're not live, right? You're not live in it. So you get to watch and you get to see what your body did when you felt over responsible for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see those moments, you get to come back and practice with self. Oh, okay, it's to come back to me, to come back and hold on to me. What's up for me? What am I feeling? Oh, I observed Elena's body language when she did this. Oh, what did that bring up for me? Oh, I felt responsible, or whatever the feelings, and be noting the feelings that are coming up as you come back to collect self. and you're watching it, but you're holding on. You get to be a witness now in the observation. And that's going to help to really start to untether and uncouple the codependency pattern that's existing between, because you are moving into sovereignty, power, and authority with self. And also for all of us, learning how to hold on to self without losing connection to other. And then also holding on to connection with other without losing connection to self. And
Well,
that's,
thank you. It's great. It's great. I'm glad you suggested that now. I don't know if I would think
yeah,
about that while watching, because while
yes,
you're saying that and I'm
yeah,
taking that right away, my brain, my mind is showing picture, like I opened eyes a little bit yesterday and I see Alina's chair turned
yeah,
away.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And so now what you're doing is you are collapsing, the uncoupling these patterns of behavior in the past and what the mind wants to tell you. And you get to sit back and be the observer, holding yourself contained in sovereignty. And you could step into the Great Mother, which I showed you last night before you watched the video, and being and just breathing with Ruka, and then become the feeler behind the feelings, the actor behind the actions, and the thinker behind the thought. And you get to just be watching, and you can do the butterfly, and you get to watch and have notes for the feelings that are coming up, for the thoughts that are coming up, and even the body sensations that are occurring. And these are all gateways to the next level of worksheets, etc. And you've got evidence right there where you're not in the fray of it. You're not in the fray, so you get to sit back, and you can pause the video, by the way. If you're in overwhelm and you found that you're flooded, guess what? You get to pause, and you get to breathe, and you get to come back to wholeness, and then could be fully resourced, come out of amygdala hijack, and then you get to start again. That's a new
And she's
way,
got an
right?
extra bonus. She's got an extra bonus. Urate was there.
Yeah.
And she does massage and breath work with Urate. So you might just set up to let that play while Urate is breathing you.
Oh yes, Michael. I have session this Wednesday. I already
Awesome.
have it in mind. Yes.
So I'd put that on the video and let it play, and just, breathe into, yesterday I was really lamenting that we couldn't just, because if we were in intensive, it would have been, okay, now it's time. It's like, you're right on it. Lay down and breathe.
Yeah.
So the fact that Urate's there and you've got a session set up for Wednesday, that would be just perfect.
Yeah.
And you
Wow.
get, it's just, I sense, if you could watch the video before and allow your mind to perceive the thoughts that were coming up, it's like it's actually doing a live mind dump is what it feels like. Rather than doing it on paper, you are going to be observing and being able to do the mind dump on paper as every thought that was coming up as you're watching, then taking all of that into breath work. And
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's exciting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Joan. I saw you.
And then Joan, you asked the question, what is the butterfly? So the butterfly.
Oh, I love this butterfly.
I call it the butterfly. That's my name for it. So what you're doing, first of all, the purpose is to unify the left and right hemisphere, is what you want to do, and you want to become whole brain. And there's different ways to do this. You can do it by, but this is one way, and also it's a reset of the nervous system. So especially when you're flooded by emotions and you're extremely flooded, and you want to bring your nervous system, you want to downregulate back into the parasympathetic from sympathetic dominance. So I just put the thumbs together, and this is the thymus here. This is the reset. This is a computer hardware reset. And you can push, you can tap, like a butter, you can tap. And then you'll just even notice it. Even if you felt charged earlier in that confusion, by the way, let's go back to that feeling of confusion that you had when I was talking about timelines. Feel how that charge is charging in your body, and there's a charge in your body around it. Now start tapping, and then, or pushing, and just notice if you notice that there is a calm that comes with that when you think of that. Are you noticing that? Oh, sorry, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
I don't have the charge anymore, so.
Okay. But if you do have a charge, but if you did, and I don't know about you, but I can go back to a charge really easy. I just have to think about it and then I'm there. So let's say back to that conversation when I was talking about timelines and you're confused, it didn't make sense to you and what I was saying and what the heck is she talking about? That doesn't make sense. We're all on the same timeline. Okay, let's just feel that for a moment. And then we just, that's in the physiology, and then we just tap, be in that feeling of it, the sense of that. And then I thank you for that, because it's actually, it's moving stuff. And then you can press right in the thymus gland with both hands. I'm doing it, or you can tap. And breathe. And I feel like I can feel the energy discharging. There's energy discharging. And that's what I call the butterfly. I don't know what the official name is for it, but it's very helpful. When I get an overwhelm, or I feel flooded, or I feel confused, I just come into the breath. I breathe with Ruka, and I imagine she's just with me, got her arms around me. It's going to be okay, sweetheart. That's what she's telling me. It's going to be okay. It's a game here. I want you to play. Don't take it so serious. It's all a game. You're going to don't have to figure it out. Yeah, that's what.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's add another piece of information to this one. How many are familiar with the mea culpa? How many have heard that? Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa?
I haven't.
Well, in past times, people could get pretty bizarre and outrageous. And one of the things that they did in the church, and it's a part of the Mass, at the point where, the transfiguration is taking place, the person in the pew bows their head and they tap on their thymus gland and they say the words mea culpa, which means my fault. Tap lightly, mea culpa, tap lightly. And then a hard tap, mea maxima culpa. Do that to yourself and just notice your subtle energy, what happens.
Well, I did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah. So just
mea culpa maxima.
Mea culpa means through my fault.
Right.
Through my fault. Mea maxima culpa is through my most grievous fault.
Okay.
So it's in fact instilling a shutdown to the endocrine system through the thymus. And it came in through, it was twisted, but it came through honesty. They're trying to control people. They're doing nuts things, crazy things. They're trying to get them to stop. Trying to, kind of like Moses thing where he says, this whole idea of vengeance. Okay, if your brother takes your eye out, you can take his eye out, but you can't do more. Trying to put a limit on it. But if everybody would, just go ahead and tap your thymus, make a little fist with the flat of your hand, your fist, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, right in the center of the breastplate. And then notice what happens if you reverse the tapping sequence and you do one hard and two soft. Anybody notice any difference?
When I did the one hard, it's like a reverberation effect. Like I landed it, I went tapped, and then I just placed, and it felt like it originated here, and then the energy went out softly.
Turning it back on. The two soft and one hard shuts it down. The one hard, two soft turns the endocrine system back on again.
Okay.
Too hard. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you start out, in order to turn it back on, you tap on the thymus one hard and then two soft.
Okay. Wow.
So you reverse what they were doing with the mea culpa. The mea culpa is a shutdown.
Okay.
So I have
reverse it and it opens up. Yeah, go ahead.
So is it possible to work? So let's say I'm in the non-being mind in the moment. I'm just been triggered. Do I want to
Yes.
shut it down for a moment then? Would it be, and then I would, or,
No,
okay,
that wouldn't be my take. But
okay.
my take is you want to open the system up. It's a restriction. You know, if you look at, it's interesting in the Aramaic language, the words or the idea of the kingdom of heaven can be properly translated as the kingdom of expansion. You want to open the system, you want to open to its flow and increase the flow through it rather than shutting it down and locking it in. The difference between release and locking it in. You know, that I have never thought of this before, but as we're talking about it, I would take the mea culpa as a part of the way to create an unconscious mind. An unnatural condition in us would reinforce the whole idea of denial. So one hard and too soft turns it back on. Yes.
Did you notice when you said that before? I didn't do it, but the thumbs went up on my screen when you were right at that.
I did see that. Yes. I go,
yeah,
boy, you caught that
exactly that.
fast.
So going forward then, everybody, just to reframe on what the butterfly is going to be, because I've known to do the butterfly, to correct or to atone, I'm going to use that word, is going to be one hard tap and then two soft taps.
Yeah, open it up and just breathing.
That's the opening of the expansion. So rather than, thank you. That's
the kingdom of expansion.
One hard tap and then two soft taps. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I love truth being revealed when we're ready to receive it.
I have.
Yeah, it was a bizarre action that was done. Go ahead, Andrea.
I was just going to add to the earlier discussion about the butterfly that when I go to EMDR, so it's a way of processing what is looping in your nervous system that hasn't been resolved. And when I brought up the butterfly to her, she said that it was invented in a war-torn country. I can't remember which one. And there were kids that were going through the processing, and they invented the butterfly instead of the vibration paddles or the light stimulus. And so she explained to me it's the same thing as EMDR, which is when a trauma is looping in your nervous system, that it's because it hasn't filed into a space in your brain, and it goes in through one hemisphere. And if that hemisphere hits a dissociated or denial space, it loops in your nervous system because it's seeking a space to rest, let's just say. And then when you do the EMDR, it gets both brain hemispheres online to be able to process it enough to file it. So Dr. Ryce, you would obviously take that much further, but that's just kind of a micro piece of what the butterfly essentially does. Did that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, yes. And of course, the underlying always in every circumstance is the breath keeps moving. That's where the real intelligence comes in to change the game. Always the breath. And when there's something moving, I think that was just a beautiful demonstration last night, Lucy, that your willingness. And when things were starting to move, that each time I invited you to take a breath, you did, and you did, and you did, and you did, and bang, there it was. No amount of explanation can ever take us there, but the breath will. So once again, thank you for your willingness. It's exemplary.
Thank you.
Well, anyone else have a thought for us? Anything to share? Miss Susan B., you've been significantly quiet today. How are you doing? I hear you have 1.5 feet of snow up there. I went out with my little, like leaf blower and was able to blow the little bit of snow that we had from last night. got rid of most of the ice last night, and so just had a little bit of snow to blow away. But I understand you've got 1.5 feet there this morning.
Yep, and we're due for another one this weekend, about the same size. So we've
Ouch.
kept our bathtub full of water and backup jugs of water. We still have heat. It's wonderful. I'm trying to find my
Yay.
way to a position where I can face everybody. Lucy, it's wonderful to hear your voice.
Thank you,
If I
Susan.
can
I always
turn on
enjoy
my
listening to
my
you.
stuff. Yeah, okay. Trying to get a little courage here to be on this. Hello, Lucy. So, yeah, I don't have any news. That's the news. We have these strapping young men who are shoveling us out, which is wonderful. So Tim and I don't have to shovel.
Getting a reward for your generosity. That's awesome.
They're great.
Mi-
Yeah.
Miss Cammie,
So,
you've got your microphone open.
yeah.
Yeah, so this mea culpa, mea maxima culpa.
Right.
You said that when you first do it, it shuts it down,
Well,
right?
they're two
And
different patterns. When you do the
right.
mea culpa pattern, that's a shutdown pattern. The reverse switches it back on.
Okay, and so I think it was Susan that asked about that. So we want to shut it down, and you said no. So I'm confused.
Yeah, what we want to do is open it up. What the mea culpa did was instill guilt, helped to create an unconscious mind, but it inhibited people's crazy behavior by shutting them down. And that was because the church at that point didn't have the understanding or the tools of the Aramaic Yeshua and what to do about it. So the only thing they knew was, well, let's just put guilt in here and shut it down. And then maybe if we put guilt in, then they won't do it anymore. Unfortunately,
Okay.
not understanding energy, they use guilt, and then guilt becomes the driver for behavior instead of the inhibitor of behavior. So the idea is that anytime you find yourself shutting down, what you can do, and what the butterfly I think was designed to do, as I understand it, is then you can reverse the pattern of tapping on your thymus. You do one heavy tap and then 2 light, the reverse of the mea culpa pattern, and that opens the system back up. So if you're in trauma, pain, something's coming up, you want to open, flow, stay connected to love so that energy moves through you and cleanses.
Okay. So at first you had us do it the one way to shut it down.
To see what it felt like. I wanted you to have the
Gotcha. So I
experience.
thought you were saying to do that way, to do both.
No.
And you're just saying to do the one to open it up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Thank you.
I did. Yeah, I was doing the other as an experiment to go. Okay, what effect do you feel here? Shutdown of energy. Do the reverse. What effect do you feel? Opening, and that's what we want is opening. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Clear
Good question.
now.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification. All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, anybody else? A last minute thought? We're at 2:00 already. Awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thanks for joining us. Have a blessed one. Lots of love. Bye-bye.